certainly saves you a lot more time. You know, it took me 10 years to find that stuff out. That's the secret. So it's a quick burst. It's much different than the high rep endurance training here. Now, on some of the workouts that will be, when you're doing like I said, like the 12 sets of 12, or that kind of range, it's going to take a whole different level of mental commitment to kind of get your mind into it, and you're going to have some long workouts. You know, I've had workouts 2.5, 3 hours, pushing the limits when I'm really pushing myself. But you know, we're not going to lie to you here. If you really want to get fit, you want to, you know, take your body to the next level, you got to be prepared to put some work in. You got to be prepared to put some effort in. But if you're willing to do it, you're willing to follow the routine, then you're going to see the kind of results that you can reap from this kind of training. So while I'm in between, right, I'll go over here. Again, I'm writing in the workbook. I did 3 warm-ups. Then I'm going back. Okay, so we did my weight here. You know, for 5, for 5. One of the reasons to keep spinning on these books is because if you're really focused on your training, you're going to find out, oh, what set am I on? What rep am I on? You forget. In actuality, that's the optimal training zone. You know, you don't want to be thinking about your workout. That's why we plan it out. That's why we write it all down. You have it incorporated. You don't want to be thinking, what exercise I'm going next, and kind of wandering around the gym losing motivation. You want to be in your workout. Boom, boom, boom. Execution, execution, execution. In between sets, you're focused on recovery. You're writing your book. You're back in here. So everything's just a rhythm. All right, let's hit it again. Now you'll notice in these exercises too, as I fatigue a little bit, I'll lose a little body cheat. Okay, it's kind of just to push that last rep so I'm in the maximum explosion of the repetition. So, especially with the first couple exercises that you're doing, you know, at the end of that you want to be an explosive type movement because we're training the whole system, we're training the whole body here. A little bit of body cheat to extend the set. So in other words, you're not cheating to get the weight up. You're cheating a little bit to extend the set. It's a very fine line, and it really takes years of practice and a good mind-muscle connection. So in other words, when I'm forcing, I'm still squeezing my back muscles at maximum contraction each time. One of the best, if you've watched Pumping Iron with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and you watch him in his training in that, there's a couple scenes where he's doing seated cable rows. I think it's one of the best examples. And there's such a smooth, almost piston-like motion. As he's extending the set, he's using a little body sway, but just enough to keep it going. And go back and watch that film over and over, and watch those parts when Arnold's training, and you'll see what a master he is of his body.
Yeah, it's all about finding that sweet zone where you're exploding enough without getting out of control, without letting momentum take over, and while really working the muscle to its max. So it's a combination of a few things, really.
Yeah, and don't expect that you're going to walk into the gym and master it. This takes time. It takes effort. You know, you keep working it, and then eventually one day it clicks. So review this information over and over again. Review your mastery book over and over again. Watch the DVDs. Listen to the audios. Burn this into your brain. So every time you come to the workout, you hear my voice or Matt's voice in your head going, yeah, I hear it. I hear him, what he's saying. I'm feeling what he's saying. Because they're not talking about this in the magazines. They're not talking about this on websites and stuff, because most of the guys just don't know about it.
The bodybuilding secrets they don't want you to know.
All right. We're really starting to cook with gas now.
So do you find that your nutrition changes when you're doing a foundation program?
Absolutely. I mean, the first couple weeks of foundation program, what a lot happens is people will often go into adrenaline shock just because it's so taxing to first start out, especially when they're in the high volume, high rep range. And so the first few weeks, oftentimes people have a very little appetite. There's so much adrenaline go through the system. And at first they might not even experience any growth because their system is in total shock because it's changing the neural firing sequence in the body. So in other words, it's on the nervous system. And then what happens typically, after 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks, the appetite starts to hit. And all of a sudden, you can't eat enough food, right? And one of the things that you want to eliminate digestive stress from eating a lot of food is you want to pound lots of insulin. So that way, you're getting in the nutrients as you grow. It's a lot better than just trying to wolf down, fried chicken or something because you're hungry or a bunch of sugar. A lot of traditional guys get really, really fat in the off season. We don't advise that. We don't want it to create metabolic damage situations because you've damaged your metabolism through bad food. You want to keep pounding the enzymes and bacteria, and so you can grow while staying lean.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest breakthroughs you've brought to the sport is a real method to get big while staying lean.
Yeah, because really as a natural guy, you can't afford to be getting really fat in the off season because it's so hard to maintain the muscle mass when you go into a dieting phase. So why not look good year round? Add muscle. What happens is myths get propagated out there. People think, oh, I got to get big I got to get fat in order to get big. And that's traditionally the way. But just because it's been the traditional way doesn't mean it has to be that way. And so what we're worried about is breaking new ground. And doing things the way they were meant to be.
And one detail that people don't talk about is, when the guy got fat, he started a 4-month cycle before the show, which kept his muscle mass.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
People don't talk about that. So
yeah, and that's some of the myths that are out there and why bodybuilders get so confused of why it's not working for them, right?
The natural universe is completely different than the drug universe. There's different sets of rules,
Good. Whew. All right. So we hit the 5 sets on that one. We're going to get set up on the next exercise. We're going to see you in the next sequence. So stay tuned for some more growth secrets. So the question comes up was, how did I create the foundation routine? And really, what I did is I examined all the training routines that were successful in building mass as fast as possible in pertaining to increasing the capacity of the athletes. And so what did athletes or bodybuilders do? What style of training did they achieve in order to go the long distances within their sport? And what I noticed was there was the German volume training, there was some of the Bulgarian stuff and what the Russians were doing, what Scott Abel was doing on a lot of his foundation routines, and what the old-time bodybuilders and legends like Ronda were doing. And it's about specific muscle building exercises in specific amounts, high volumes, and then changing the exercise sequence in order so that you build all the muscle fiber types within the training and combining that into a systemized format that radically increases your capacity for growth no matter where you are as a beginning bodybuilder or even as an intermediate training. And it was a real treat to put this one together. So in this sequence, we're going into one of my favorite places in the gym, and that's the power rack. Okay, and so what we're doing is we're doing power deadlifts, and not a lot of people know what power deadlifts, and in other words, so we're powerlifting style to really activate a lot of the deep down back muscles that you can't activate from traditional movements. This works every single muscle in your whole body in this exercise. So it's a great mass builder, it's a good foundation exercise. Now in the power deadlifts, it's going to be just below the knees as the starting point. So we're coming up out of there, and then we're going to lock the weight out. One of the things are, because you can get up to using some pretty heavy poundages in this exercise as you build up. It's amazing how much power you'll build from week to week on this exercise. Straps are a good idea. That way you're not worried about your grip on this weight, because you start getting up to 500 and 600 pounds. You don't want to be thinking about your grip. So you watch me here. This is me strapping in with the movement. And I just get a little wrinkle like that. So it's a little loose, and then I come in on the other side. It's going to take you, if you haven't used straps before, it takes you about a week or two. to get it down, you find your sequence. So make sure you're lined up to start, right? And just roll it over like that. Okay, and then you just tighten it up. So we're right there. Now I'm really locked in. I don't have to worry about my grip anymore. I'm just concentrating on the lift. Once again, you want to keep the arch in the back. This is critical. None of this stuff here, that's where you can really hurt yourself. Okay, so you want to get in the position, get your foot down, and then you just lift up, back down to the rack.
So notice he's sticking his butt out as he's going down.
Exactly, so that's how you maintain the arch in the body, right? So that one, now we're not gonna go to the maximum zone today because to be honest, if I was to go to the maximum zone in this weight thing, there's no cameras on this kind of work. I don't want the distractions. I want to teach you today and how to do the sequencing, how to do the volume, and how to hit this over and over again. But if you're really serious about putting this on, here's one thing, even between sets, because as the weight goes up, right, between each set, you know, you're going to be over here in the corner like gasping for air or something. You're going to be down for the count. That's the kind of intensity you want to bring to this type of set. And it's not something that, you know, you're going to put on camera or be filming for. So we're just going to give you the idea behind it, let you watch how to do the lift properly so that you get maximum benefit, right? So we're just strapping in again. Okay, set. Okay, back arch, and then tense up the whole body before you start. You don't want to be coming like this, like you see a lot of guys doing. You want to be tense, and then lift. Back over to the exercise routine, and you're going to write in exactly where you are at.